Hi, I'm Neil Ronahan, and this is Nintendo World Report TV, and we are here to talk about Nintendo Labo. I've been playing some Labo. I'm also joined by our robot constructor, John Raridan.
Hello.
Our fishing master, Casey Gibson.
Oh, God.
And our piano player, Xander Morningstar.
Hello.
That was beautiful.
I shouldn't have. I have my handlebars in my house on the other side of the room, or else I'd do the clicking of the house right now.
I wasn't gonna put on the whole robot suit for this.
That would have been real cute if you did.
Oh my god, that would have been perfect.
I can't fit in the chair with it on, so
Start over. Yeah, start over. Go get it.
Well, let's go. Let's start with the robot kit, because I think I bought it. I know Xander and Casey. Did either of you get it?
No.
No, I just got the variety kit for now.
Do either of you have any interest in it?
Yes.
I do, but honestly, I will probably never get it. I feel like I actually sort of like the variety kit bouncing around, you know, and yeah, I don't know if I have it in me to build the robot and then go through that whole game.
So John, as the person who has had the experience of building the robot and wearing the robot kit and writing a review, that you can also watch a video review here on this channel of the robot kit, what do you got to say about it?
It's neat. It works better than it has any right to work. I mean, like, for a thing that is just strings and cardboard, it tracks all of your limb movement. It tracks your face movement. It tracks, like, your body orientation. Like that's the thing I wasn't expecting. So, like you can punch and walk and stuff, yeah. But, like it tracks, like, your head and body, like, which direction you're leaning separately. So, like, that robot matches your exact position. Like, it's not just legs and fists. Like, if you, like, do this, then he's gonna do that and bend his head that way. And it's pretty impressive, like, how... Like, I have, like, a PlayStation VR also, and this feels like it does a better job of tracking me than anything I've played on VR, and this is made out of cardboard, which is stupid. But it's pretty neat. The game is probably deeper than anything in the variety kit, I assume. I haven't played those. But it's still not super deep. It took like 3.5 hours to build. This is a... I don't know if I would want to do this with a small child, to be honest.
Yeah, that sounds kind of tough. And I think the longest... I mean, I think the piano's the most intricate of the variety kit, but I think even that, like, probably... I know the range they give seems to be higher than, like, what it would take us to make them. But even that, like, I know with the house and the motorcycle, I think it took me probably an hour. And that was, like, lackadaisically doing it and taking a break often for both of those.
Yeah, I can say the house didn't take very long. I actually just built that earlier today. And the fishing rod was definitely more complex than the house. Just because you had sort of, like...
The string.
You've got... Well, the string's not too bad, but it's like this retracts. And
Okay.
Then you got the reel itself, so... There's a little bit of, complexity with that, but yeah, it wasn't too long. But I know it said like 90 minutes, and I was like, okay, whatever, you know. And you do like the first step, and I'm like, oh, we're like practically there, and it's like step 1 of 5. So I'm like, okay, it's like maybe that 90-minute mark's pretty close. But yeah, it was probably closer to an hour though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The inside of the robot is it's pretty crazy. Like, you have like this like array of like pistons that are all being pulled by individual strings, and
It looks nuts.
each one of those has like reflective tape that's going like up and down, and like you can even see when you're playing the game down in like in the corner you have like literally what the IR camera is seeing and tracking each one of those pistons. And it's somebody came up with it, which is somebody got paid to do that, and I want to know how long it took them to come up with it.
A bitter Miyamoto after Project Giant Robot tanked, just being like, it'll come back.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
so it was like, Shigeru, how about VR? No, cardboard.
It does. I mean, like, from what I've seen of how Project Giant Robot controlled, it does. I mean, obviously that had, you were just leaning because it didn't have arm stuff. But like,
I mean, it looks like it's
all
like
of the movement
Project
stuff
Giant
of like
Robot,
leaning around.
if it controlled well.
That sounds like how Project Robot controlled. I mean, this is definitely Project Giant Robot. 100%.
Yeah, and I think this might have been the best outcome for Project Giant Robot.
Probably.
I don't think there was a lot of meat on the bones of that game concept, and
there isn't a
and
lot
they might have-
more. There isn't any more meat now, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe it's just like they're like, oh wait, we can build this cardboard suit. Let's just throw that E3 demo into the game as well.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And go from there. So, I mean, all it is like the challenge stages, and that's it.
There's that city that you can wander around in, which is like a timed thing, and you get multipliers. But other than that, it's, like, 12 challenge stages. And those are good. I mean, like, they're well made, and there's some cool variety, and I don't think you could really get anything more out of the mechanics that there are. Like, that's probably the appropriate amount of content for what you have to work with.
How long did it take you to get through? You've done them all, right? You went through every challenge and every sort of... How long did that take?
I think it wound up being like an hour and a half. I did most of it in a day. Like, I did the first half hour of it on a stream, and then just went through the rest of it later. So
that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's
compared to the variety kit, like,
the
handlebars in the house, like, I probably spent a combined 40 minutes with the two of them and was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
The house is just bonkers. It's so weird.
The house is weird, but like,
it's so cute.
It just, I'm kind of blown away by the house because it's just like, it's mini games, and they packaged it in a way that, like, it's a little obscure that it's just mini games, and like you're feeding this little monster thing some candy that you earn from playing mini games, and there's like a weird balloon fight kind of thing. That's probably my favorite of the 9 games. I think there's 9 games in there, but it's just like, cool.
Yeah, it was not. I mean, I didn't really do too much research on what the mini games were beforehand, so I was like, I wonder what is going to go on with this house, and I was certainly not expecting to have some sort of like chinchilla-esque creature in there that you feed candy and his fur changes, and you can fill up the entire house with water.
I drowned the bastard. You can watch it on the direct feed video. If you notice, I end that video, it goes to the screen of you just hear water in the background, and then it stops. The first one I stumbled upon was like the minecart thing, which is really cool. And I was like, maybe there's levels. And I was like, nah, it's just this.
It's
And maybe the point of some of these Labo things is that, like, you just kind of, you make your own game, because it looks like there is the potential for depth in all of these things. Like, even the motorcycle stuff, like, that's like a pretty good Mario Kart-esque. Like it feels good. It's a fun racing game, motion controlled racing game, but there's 9 courses, and then you can make your own. It seems like Labo is very much based around giving you a demo's worth of content, and then saying, now you build the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't even gotten into Garage yet, but for fishing, it's really simple. I mean, building the rod, like I said, there was a little bit of complexity. There was none of the reflecting tape like the house had, so that was the first time I dealt with that. But once you get it constructed, you just get into, like, you just drop the lure into the water by just sort of, reeling it the opposite of way you normally would. And the first layer, you can go down pretty far, actually. And in the beginning, they're, smaller fish, and they're pretty easy to catch. They're not going to give you much struggle, But when you start going down and you go really far down, actually to the point where, like, everything's silhouetted because you're so far deep, and like sharks are down there and huge stingrays and stuff. And those are tough because, like, it's even a challenge to hook them, let alone actually bring them in. And it's just sort of like almost like a tug of war game. You just reel him up, and then all of a sudden he'll start pulling, and then you sort of got to be like, okay, I'm going to let loose a little, extra string for him there, and then sort of move with him so that it doesn't break away. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you catch 3, and then it gives you like a little grade or something, and then it's like try again. So while it's not super deep, if you want to catch some of the bigger fish, there is some challenge behind it. And it is, like I said, it's cool when you put it into the actual little, bed you make for it, and the string goes right onto the switch. So like it feels a little bit more realistic, and actually doing the reeling, like they said, they have that little piece of cardboard in there that adds like the sort of clicking. So it gets that. And there's actually like a little rubber band concoction in there, so it like actually it doesn't resist or anything, but it gives you like a little bit more of a feeling like if it were actually a fishing rod. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool little game to sort of just jump in there. I plan on showing it to my dad. I feel like that would be something he'd be like, this is crazy, you know? But yeah, again, not really a super deep game. You can play it for like 5 minutes and see everything that it has to offer, but there is some replayability there if you want to try and get the tougher fish.
Yeah, I mean, that's you kind of point out an element of Labo that I think is part of the reason why I don't really feel foolish for buying it, is it's really cool to show people. Like, just be like, look at this ridiculous handlebar thing. Like, you have HD rumble in it, and it kind of feels like it's a motorcycle in a weird way. Like, there's a rubber band adding resistance here, and it feels tactile in a way that, you know, video games usually don't. Even Nintendo's Wii stuff, like, part of... I know I was talking to people about some of like the Wii stuff that was mimicking real life activities, is that there was no resistance to it, and now Labo kind of fixes that. Mm-hmm. Now Xander, you built the piano. How's that? That's a build that's very intimidating to me.
So I actually thought that the fishing pole was harder, I guess, than the piano, because I think it had a lot more intricate shapes that folded into that handle, especially. Whereas the piano, I think, might take longer because there's so much repetitive folding. A lot of those estimate times are really just holding down the fast forward button so it can get through all those creases in the building. But like a lot of the keys are very similar, and it's really just like the body, the tray, and then the stand for your switch. So I didn't think it was that intimidating after I finished it. But I do think that the piano, you can do more with it. I think there's a lot more variety of what they put in. Like, you can use it as an aquarium. You can make your own music. There's a lot more pieces that you can put into the piano that are just kind of fun to mess around with. Like, they have these little knobs here, which you guys probably have already seen. And I think the hardest part about them was really just taking your time, putting all the tape on them, and hoping that you don't mess up, because they don't really give you extra. They kind of say in the tutorial.
Yeah.
Like, well, you've used all your tape, but like there's a border that we used on the packaging that you can use to make your own thing. So I was like, all right, is that your backup? Because I don't really have any reflective tape in case I mess it up. But I think that like really just taking your time with it was what made it long. But I found that the fishing pole was actually more fun because I was building it with 4 other college students, and a few of them were a little tipsy. But we played the fishing game for 2.5 hours, and it didn't get old. It was around 3 o'clock in the morning. We were like, "All right, we need to go home." I remember.
What are we doing?
Yeah, well,
cardboard, you know.
We eventually when you're fishing, there's that halfway point where you the bob or whatever goes through like the inside of a second ship. I'm gonna assume that's what that is. And I kind of thought that was like the end of it, and so for like an hour and a half we thought that was like as far as you could go, and then you drink Sam, someone realized like you can go farther, and so we went to the bottom and we discovered these sharks, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get this one, I can feel it. And so I was like ready, and then the shark like swims by really fast, and you have like a microsecond to like react, and as soon as it like made that bite sound, I like whipped the handle up and I whacked myself in the face.
Oh no!
I felt really stupid.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But the piano has also been a blast to play. I used to play piano, and so it's fun to like see how it works and how it's annoying that I want to be able to play more complex songs on it because it's only one scale. But at the same time, it's very neat like how they were able to do it. And I'm sure you guys have already messed with it, but they have like these like frequency cards that you can use to change the pitch of the notes that you play, and they usually don't sound very good. But I'm already seeing like Labo covers on YouTube.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
it's nuts. Some of the music that's already been produced from the piano.
Right. So they're both of them, I agree, have been really cool just to show people. My family was like wowed by it. They were kind of like, you bought how much cardboard for how much money? But I was like, no, you have to see this. Just try it. And they were like, all right, that's really cool. Yeah, it's almost like I'm one of the people that had a lot of fun playing 1-2 Switch because it's just a great game to have in college. And I think I had almost more fun building these weird things and then just showing them to people in the dorm room. Yeah, it's I don't know.
Does the
Yeah, I mean,
did the variety
it does.
did the variety kit do a did they actively tell you how to build those knobs like in the main tutorials?
Yeah.
Okay, because for the robot kit, you use those to customize the robot, but like it's not going to tell you where they are or how to build them. Like I had to go looking for like the point in the game where it would tell me how to get those knobs.
The piano has something like that. Like they show you how to build the knobs and the buttons, but like the frequency cards and then the little let's see what else I have here. I still don't know what this thing is for. I mean, I guess it's an Easter egg of music, but they also have these, which you can use to create your own fish in the aquarium, or you can use it to go into the piano studio and then you can punch them all out. And don't throw them away because if you stick them back in, you can actually create different rhythms. Like each row is a different instrument. And so when the IR camera scans it, it sees which holes are punched out, and then it'll create a song based on what you punched out. But that's not explained when you're making the piano. That's in a discover mode.
Yeah.
Where they have like a cast of characters to explain how things work, and that's when they get a little more in depth with some of the other tools that they give you. Because there are the sheets that they give you for each Toy-Con, but there's also a sheet that's just for like ideas or fun things you can do that they utilize in discover mode. And they kind of prompt you like with little videos like, quick, make this real quick, real fast so we can talk about it.
Yeah,
So,
they do the same thing with the motorcycle. With there's the gun that you can use to. I mean, it's basically just a holder for the Joy-Con with the camera on it, so you can put an object in front of it to make the stadium in the motorcycle. And then there's also the Toy-Con mini bike, which the game says is just a cool way to design a track because you can make tracks in the game by just holding up a Joy-Con and just moving it around. But this gives you a little bike that the Joy-Con can go in. It does nothing
Silly,
for the game. But the best is that like one of the characters in the game is just like, doesn't that even do anything? And they're like, nah, but it's real cool, isn't it?
There's in the robot. I don't know if this is in the variety kit, but in the robot kit, one of the sheets I noticed had a pair of sunglasses in it, and so like I punched those out, and like they're nothing ever uses them. It's just a pair of cardboard sunglasses for you to wear, I suppose.
So why aren't you wearing them now?
I was actually looking around behind me to see like where they are, but I don't know where I put them. My wife keeps running off with them and wearing them, so I don't know where they are.
The variety kit.
Yeah,
Going to work.
Variety kit has a lot of those accessory things. Like they have a baton to put onto your Joy-Con when you're in the studio mode, and you want to like actually have a. You want to. I mean, it works. I was playing with it earlier, and I used to do a little bit of drum major stuff, and like it's wow, you can actually create a tempo with it. But it's also really goofy that you're waving a baton around, or like the RC car antenna for your Switch.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That was sort of funny.
I love that antenna. Like I was so my story with getting Labo is I was at my day job and I got the variety kit at lunch, brought it in, opened it up, and made the RC car, and then went around harassing people at my job, explaining like, look at how ridiculous this is.
Did you make both of them and battle?
No, I didn't. Well, I also only had I only had 2 Joy-Con with me, so I could not do more than that. I wish I knew because I would have brought both in.
How effective was your guys' RC cars? Because I had problems with that one, and it was the first thing I built. So I was like, oh man, how much money did I spend on this piece of crap?
I think the RC cars are absolute junk, but they're a very good, effective way of like, hey, this is what you should expect.
Sure.
This is going to take you 5-10 minutes to do, but this is like a good introduction to what you're going to do with Labo.
See, my RC car experience was actually pretty good. We were, I've got sort of a glass table where we're building them, so like nice and smooth, so the rumble worked well, and like they didn't move perfectly straight, but you would be able to navigate around. Like I was doing little laps on the table, and it's funny because like I was streaming when I was doing it, so like I had my Chibi Robo, amiibo over there, so I just like threw it on the table, like joking around. I'm like, we'll race around Chibi Robo, and then all of a sudden I realized the camera, And then like I'm like, oh my god, you could see Chibi Robo through like the IR lens, you know. And then I had a cup of coffee too, and you could see just had like, oh, there's the hot cup of coffee, and it was
cool.
surprisingly
that camera's terrifying.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, like it's Chibi Robo.
I was like,
I was
Metal
not
Gear
expecting
Labo
that.
or something like that coming up.
So,
Mine
so-
didn't work that great though. The front half of the Joy-Cons, they would hang off of the front of where the RC car was, so there was like an acute angle of space. And so I think that the rumble that was supposed to like kind of balance it out wasn't hitting the rest of the RC car, so it wasn't working properly. And that was a weird moment where we were like, "Oh man, Xander, what'd you buy today?"
I know Justin Berube had trouble with his too. He was talking about that on Twitter, I think. So you're not alone.
That, like one of his rumble seemed to be stronger than the other one or something.
Yeah.
So
you
has
can't
anybody,
change it, so I don't know.
Yeah. Has anybody messed around with Garage to any big degree yet?
No,
Not really.
I haven't gotten in there yet, but I'm starting to see on Twitter. I saw someone did the Flappy Bird game.
Yeah.
And I also saw someone did like a Game and Watch, like the old
The ball.
Game and Watch. Yeah, and
Really?
it looks incredible. I mean, I can't wait to see what else comes out of there. But yeah, I haven't. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to get into the garage yet.
I think it's the kind of thing that's very cool, but I'm never going to get that into it. I hope people around me get into it because I want to see what they can do.
Yeah.
But that's just like I'd rather play the things than make the things.
I've poked more around with the Piano Studio more than the Toy Car Garage, but I have seen like some of the stuff that people have done, and I've tried doing things on my own. And I'm trying to like utilize what I learned from Human Resource Machine, and it's like, all right, we can do this. But yeah, it's very neat, and I like how it's complicated enough to like make things that you want to do effectively, but it's also extremely user friendly, and they like put in guides to help you learn it. I mean, dare I say, it's kind of like the approach they did with Mario Maker. Like you can do really cool things with it, but it's also like your mom can make this and it'd be fun. So yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like the next line in that, and it also reminded me a lot of like WarioWare DIY, and even just Labo as a whole kind of makes me think of like Brain Age and the Touch Generations stuff back in the DS era. Like that's something that Nintendo like kind of outside of Mario Maker, which I think kind of loosely fits into the Touch Generations style of play. Something that they kind of fell away from as they got to Wii U and 3DS, where like that wasn't as much of a focus. And even with the Switch, with 1-2 Switch kind of bombing out when it came out, it didn't seem like they were going to go down that path. It was going to be a lot more Mario and Zelda. But I'm kind of heartened to see them come out the gate with Labo and just be like, yeah, here's that weird stuff. Remember when we used to do a lot more of this? And like that weird Nintendo is there. It might just be Kawamoto, who was the producer of Labo and also the producer on 1-2 Switch. Maybe it's just that one dude carrying the torch. But I'm glad that he's there because I like this part of Nintendo, even if it might not be my favorite Nintendo products. I'm just glad they're there.
Yeah, it shows like they are still a toy company. You know, they do have, and it wouldn't surprise me if like one of the Labo we see in a future variety kit is like the Ultra Hand or something like that.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd use that for, but I mean, we saw in the trailer other variety things that they didn't include this time, like the bird and the camera and the bass pedal. So
I think the camera is going to be really, really cool.
Yeah,
it's going to be like a Game Boy camera.
For sure.
Yeah, and like, I mean, right now we're recording this. It's less than a week after launch. We're actually hours away from Nintendo's fiscal year financial briefing.
Don't you mean the NFL draft?
Yeah, the NFL draft as well. The Packers might be trading up for Derwin James. Let's see if that happens. I don't know. It'd be cool. He seems very good at football. But yeah, so the Nintendo financials are in a matter of hours, and they probably won't really touch on Labo that much since that's technically, I mean, it didn't even come out in the fiscal year that they'll be reviewing. But I will be curious to see how Labo does over the next couple months, because that's going to kind of tell the tale on, will there be another variety kit? Will there be another giant one-off thing like the robot? Will we see more Labo kits, I'd say, yeah, we will. I'd assume probably at least one more in the fall. But I think the thing that excites me the most about this is that it's just like something so wacky and new, and to see how it evolves over the next 6 months, over the next year, over the next 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're definitely going to see another variety pack, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was relatively soon. I mean, not to say in like a month or two, but like, I don't know, I'm curious to see, like you said, I guess also it'll be how much it catches on. If it might be, hey, there's a new Labo, even a smaller variety kit that's maybe $40 and has 2 or 3 things, and, you know, maybe that comes up 2 or 3 times a year, that sort of always keeps the Labo narrative there, you know, and people are talking about it and showing the weird little things they're doing in Garage. And like I said, I'm interested. The camera looks really cool, and I'm just excited to see what crazy stuff they can sort of come up with next.
So, John, what do you want to see happen with Labo? Star Fox?
I mean, I wouldn't say no, because I'll hop on board wherever that weird train goes.
You make a giant R-wing.
If it's anything like the R-wing that was at E3 when Star Fox Zero was announced, then I'm like totally about it, because that thing worked great.
I think at least 50% of my goodwill towards Star Fox Zero at that E3 was because I sat in a freaking R-wing to play it.
with surround sound. It makes it incredible.
And where do you think that thing is now?
In some lucky person's office, I assume. Yeah. For some reason, not in my office. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was gonna say John's gonna have to hunt it down.
We'll have to make some phone calls. Yeah. but yeah, I mean, what do you want to see out of Labo in the future?
I'm amazed that we've never gone back to like Mario Paint stuff, and I feel like Labo could do some. The piano kind of gets there, but like, I guess this isn't like particularly Labo, but like this whole initiative to go back toward that like Mario Paint creative suite kind of thing that was around during like the Super Nintendo and like the disk drive stuff. I think we should go back
Mario
to that.
Artist.
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like Mario Maker kind of brought that back through more video game lens, and Labo's seeing it blossom more. And I think that stuff has always kind of been there. It's just been more in the background in like late gen DS stuff like WarioWare DIY.
Yeah. But also Star Fox. The robot thing feels like Star Fox. I mean, I was talking on Twitter that it has that like weird late Wii U era vibe of like kind of low budget, and like they just don't know what's going on, but they're gonna try this weird thing. Like, it really has a strong vibe of that, which some people probably don't like, but I find it charming.
I'm a huge fan of that kind of content. Like, I really liked it when they did all their, especially Iwata, when he was pressing for their like the Wii's. What did he call that? The vitality sensor.
Oh yeah. Ooh, Labo vitality sensor.
Yeah, you make your own vitality sensor out of cardboard.
It comes with a little needle that pokes into your finger. And you fold that up and then just put it in there.
Yeah, but I think that like that was a really cool era for them. I know like it led into the Wii U era, but Nintendo's approach to, making toys, making video games, and then also making products that are really about like lifestyle improvement, whether it be through fitness or, like they had a million things in their DS that were like financial things or just cooking. Or brain age. And then this is a really cool like educational thing that I think it'd be really neat if it was picked up kind of like how the DS was. And like a lot of kids can use it in schools or like just, I mean, it's the DS, like the thing broke a lot, but I think cardboard could break more.
It would be interesting to see the Switch picked up as something other than a gaming device. If that's kind of like I mean, like the DS was picked up by a lot of people, not necessarily to play games in the traditional sense. And there's definitely that potential with Switch, I think.
I think Switch is a little too expensive to be.
Yeah,
but maybe eventually. I mean, maybe not right now. Yeah. I mean, the DS probably wasn't when it came out either, but later on down the road.
Yeah, because what DS was 150.
I think it was 150.
And I think by the time Brain Age came out, it was still 150. I think that was like 13 years ago.
But a lot of people, I mean, like later on, like buying them like pre-owned and stuff like that, you could get them for under $100. by the time
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff
I
was
think
coming
Even
out.
like the Wii sold, I think, what, at $250 at launch,
Yeah.
and that was something that
Yeah.
went to everyone's household. Whereas like Labo plus a Switch, that's almost double
And
that.
$380 already.
And
yeah.
for the record,
Yeah.
my high school, they didn't do this while I was there, but after I left, they were using modded Wiis in classrooms to make like smart boards. So
That's
there
fun.
you go.
That's
Wow.
so fun.
That's real funny.
I wonder if it will get big enough to the point where they would make a SKU that's designed for schools that they could make.
Yeah.
No.
The
Like
educational
they've done
Switch.
that with like the DS.
Yeah.
They did like they even did stuff like that with the NES for like disability services. Like
Yeah.
the no hand controller. So you got to wonder if that's something that would ever be
Yeah.
pushed for.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think that's gonna do it for our Labo review discussion of sorts. Be sure to check out Nintendo World Report TV for more Labo content. We will have, if I don't know if it'll be out by the time this is up, but we are going to have a variety kit review where Xander, Casey, and I put our heads together to come up with a final score and also kind of break down each part. We already have our robot kit reviews up there. John, what did you give it
I
again?
gave it a 7, which is like
Okay,
pretty
yeah.
good, but not like whoa.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's neat. Seems like the building was probably the best part.
It's most of it, so
Um,
you'd hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have a lot more Labo content, and as Garage develops, we'll be keeping an eye on that, and maybe we'll do some sort of follow-up video. But check that all out on Nintendo World Report TV. You can also go to our website, nintendoworldreport.com, and we have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/NWR, where you can help us. You can help support us, and we can make more content like this for you. So thank you, Xander, John, and Casey, for joining me. And that's all for now. Bye.
Bye.